There were times where I felt like I was losing my fucking mind. This nightmare of being stuck in my fucking head. The more you overthink all of that stuff that is in your head, the more of a mess you make. And when I sit there and complain and whine and get stuck in my head now, I just think about my ancestors looking down on me going, you have a fucking phone, a laptop, an air-conditioned office, a roof over your head, an unlimited supply of food, an ability to network, an ability to hunt, an ability to create things, an ability to raise children with all of these fucking resources, and you're telling us that it's hard. And I'm not about to sit here and complain and ruin it for mine. Why I've been showing up with so much relentless, savage, extremely passionate, full on, some may say over the top, some may say aggressive, some may say blunt and rude, whatever the fuck, but I've been showing up in my eyes, how I see it, is so fucking bluntly and directly and passionately. Because there's a lot of intention and truth behind why I've been showing up like that. I haven't really felt called to show up in wide, philosophical, depthy way. If we rewind back to about 2022 or so, we've got to remember that in 2022, we just exited one of the most life-changing periods, one of the most societal and global changing experiences that we'll probably experience in our lifetime. We exited such paradigm shifting period, and 99% of the population has failed to realize what that period actually meant and how it actually changed so many things moving forward. It created so much suppression, so much confusion, such a wild shift in belief systems on either ends of the spectrum. It created insane levels of political division. It created division and polarity across the fucking board. It ruined economies. It shook the world like some failed to even fucking comprehend. I looked at what was going on in my business and I looked at what we wanted to do moving forward. I had a big business pivot that had to occur. And so I started pivoting and things weren't working. And I started to change things more and things wouldn't work some more. More challenge after more challenge after more challenge. A lot of people have experienced this resistance and this inability to gain momentum. I've always been someone that's very, very, very deep in my thinking and someone that really, really craves certainty and clarity of the mind. I ended up philosophizing around fucking everything. I had different things going on in my business and personal life, and I had some complaints going on in my business and some issues there, and then some personal issues going on. And I started reflecting back on me and then wondering what was wrong with me and what I was doing wrong and whether this was really my path, and whether I started just continually questioning again and again and again. And I started to look at myself from all of these different angles. And I started to also doubt myself in many, 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 many different ways. I had multiple phone calls with individuals that are in my corner and that mean the world to me. I really struggled for a really long time. I was absolutely crushing it in so many ways, but it also came with this overwhelming existential questioning and this overwhelming over-analysis, just being stuck in my fucking head about anything and everything. Before that, so many things in life were very simple. The complexities and paradoxical nature of the universe wasn't relevant. There wasn't as much polarity. There weren't as many complex issues. And even business was really fucking simple back then. And when I look back at like 2019 and I fucking laugh. I laugh, man, at how easy so many things were and how simple so many things were. While the fundamentals of business have not changed, there was just so many question marks now. In that period, again, I was just so deep into my head. I really had moments there where I wondered whether I was going to get out of it. And I wondered whether I was trapped in this nonsense, right? Just not having any sense at all of what to do. And I know I'm being very abstract here. I understand that. As I'm listening to myself speak, it sounds kind of like I'm trying to say something, but I'm not actually saying something. But that was kind of the fucking problem. So much overthinking going on that it led to a point where I didn't even know what the problem was. I was sort of creating problems out of thin air. Like I was just generally overwhelmed, clutching at straws and clutching at different ways of looking at things and clutching anything and everything I could to try and make sense of this new world that I'd landed in. Some people were totally fine. And you might be listening to this and going, fuck, what the fuck, bro? Like, I was totally fine during this period. Like, everything's all good. Whereas here I am looking at the deepest depths of the societal conditioning that has gone on and thinking about, like, holy fuck, I'm going to be raising kids. Actually, do I even want to raise kids with the way I can see society going? Like, I genuinely believe we have so many threats in our society right now. And I'm questioning that. I'm like, fuck, okay, so I do want to raise kids, but I don't want this, and I do want that, and I don't want this, but I want them to see this, but I don't want them to sort of have that. And I don't know where AI is going, and that seems like a real fucking concern for me. And I don't love the way that this is working, and I don't love the way that fucking 95 different genders is now being normalized, and just all of this shit. And again, to summarize again, I did my fucking head in. I had a call with a really good friend of mine. They said to me one day, you need to stop overthinking this. Like, everything's fine. Just trust me that everything's fine. I sort of brushed that off and I didn't have much of a response to that at all, that point in time. I actually saw a piece of content from Sean Whalen. He basically said, get the fuck out of your head and shut the fuck up for 10 minutes. And if you do that, you might even be able to take some ruthless action. And if you do that, you might even notice that shit figures itself out. And I was like, yeah, rah, rah, cool. And he followed it up with, now you might hear rah, rah, cool. But the truth is, it fucking works. Get the fuck out of your head for 10 minutes and see what the fuck actually happens when you stop thinking about everything and simply follow a basic plan and follow everything that you know. And then around the similar time, like I heard that and I'm like, something's there. There is something in that being said right here, right now, where I believe I need to hear that. I heard from another one of my mentors, Jesse Elder, I heard him say, pretending not to know will kill you. Pretending not to know will kill you. And it followed up, I'm going to butcher exactly what it said, but the essence that I took away from it was, pretending not to know will kill you. You know what to do. Do it. And it was, guys, it's such fucking simplicity. And I followed it. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm actually going to just give myself full permission to just follow the path that is currently in front of me. Not the most aligned path in the world. Not the one where every fucking star lines up and my chakras are fully aligned and I'm feeling like the inner... No. I gave myself permission to shut the fuck up for 10 minutes and to simply action like I never have before for 30 days and to see what actually happens. I gave myself permission to stop questioning things and actually run with what I know. Because here's the thing, guys. Here is the fucking thing. I have been in business now for 12 years. I've been coaching businesses for 8 of those years. I know a fuckload, an absolute fuckload. But sitting there and trying to piece what I know into a puzzle in a way that activates perfectly and matches this and la 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 stops me from being in my body. It stops me from being in my center, being instinctual, and allowing all of that knowledge that I have to simply come through and do its work. You see, the overthinking actually makes you more fucking dumb because your brain has so much more figured out than you give yourself credit for. So instead of trusting that brain of yours, and instead of trusting what you already have, oh, but I've only been in for 1 year. Well, then you've got an entire fucking year of knowledge then. You're not in shortage of knowledge. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop with this, and I'm simply going to action ruthlessly. I'm going to action ruthlessly and see what actually happens. And surprise, surprise, I let go of this overthinking, which also was a lot of questioning of self. I decided to give myself permission to shine as the fucking star that I am. So I went out there and I did exactly that. And I don't even need to tell you what happened to my business when I did that. You're following what I'm putting down. I don't even need to tell you what happened to my own self-worth when I did that. I don't even need to tell you what happened to my lifestyle, my connection to spirit and God, what happened in my intimate relationship. I don't even need to tell you what happened there because you can damn well fucking guess what happened when I simply did that. And what ended up happening next is I would action, and then more problems would occur. And I would feel myself almost as if my psyche had split in two. I could feel part of my psyche going to go, oh, well, why exactly is this challenge happening? And what are you learning here? Because maybe the reason that this challenge is happening now, Tom, is because the way that you're showing up and the energy that you're transmitting here and the way in which you're going about things and the blah, 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 fucking blah. Part of my psyche would start running that shit again and throwing me down into this fucking pit again. And I'd be running the same questioning strategy again. And what would then happen is momentum creates momentum. So now the negative thinking spirals to negative thinking. And then you have this thing of like, oh, I can't think clearly. Well, no shit. So what started to happen is I would see this part of my psyche doing that and I'd be like, nah, fuck you. I'm just going to action something. I would literally say that to myself. I'd be like, yeah, cool fucking story. And then I would just go and do some more work. Or I'd go and go for a scuba dive. Or I'd go and go, fuck this, meditate and move on. And I allowed myself to simply go all in. I used to be in this state of like, pace yourself, pace yourself. But what I ended up finding is that my nervous system adapted to the sensitivity that I demanded from it. Let me say that again. My nervous system adapted to the level of sensitivity that I demanded from it. I understand the importance of listening to your fucking body. Trust me, I wouldn't be here if I didn't do it. I've overcooked it before. But I'd also landed in a realm where I was oversensitive to my nervous system and I wasn't allowing myself to go out and have a good fucking crack at things. Because I would fear being burnt out. I would fear overdoing it. And the funny thing is that when you fear something, it's really interesting how actively that thing chases you when you fear it. So I also decided to stop fearing burning out. And I said to my wife, I'm going to go absolutely ham at things. And I don't really know what's going to happen. But it sure as fuck beats getting stuck in my head. So I may burn out, I may not. I don't know what's going to happen. I just need to go. And I just went for it. And guess what? After a few weeks, I had a day where I'm like, fuck, I've overcooked. Like, I've overdone it here. So what did I end up doing? I was like, I've overdone it here. So guess what? I took 2 days of rest. I learned from it. And then I got back on the horse the next day. I got back in the next day and I started to get after it again. And I continually did this. And things grew and grew and grew. And a lot of individuals couldn't take that heat. A lot of individuals didn't like savage, direct, aggressive, it's passion, aggressive Tom. They didn't like that. But the really cool thing about this is what happens when you allow yourself to be the expression of who it is you really are. Those that are actually here for you grab on tighter. And those that are here only for a particular side of you, they fuck off. And what ended up happening is through this period of relentless action, I need you to understand this. Remember, this started with me being so fucking unclear on things. Through this period of relentless action, everything in my life became so fucking clear and so fucking simple. I can't even explain how clear, how simple everything became. I continued to have challenges, guys. They turned from being stuck in mud to having like a significant challenge that I would fight my way through. And I would fight through and I would be okay and I'd lick my wounds and I'd go back to business the next day and continue on. Now that gives you a bit of a rundown as to what my journey has been like. It's been a journey of cultivating insane levels of clarity through the process of action. And when I look at the way I did it, the ruthlessness that I did it with, the savagery that I did it with, I think what's really important here is that I never set out saying, I want to yell when I speak. I want to swear more when I speak. I want to be more direct when I speak. I didn't set out to do that nearly as much as I set out to just remove the filter and see what was in there. And that's what was inside, right? And it started to come out and it felt fucking great because it was the fullest expression of the real me. Now, all of that being said, I want to rewind and I want to go like, well, why am I so worked up about this? Why am I so worked up about turning 500 savages into strong, sovereign fucking empires? That's the mission at the moment. 500 savages, help them build strong, sovereign, absolute fucking empires. That's it. That's the only mission that I have in my mind right now. Why am I so passionate about that and fired up about that? Because I know that if you do not build this, it will be taken from you. If you do not fortify, it will be taken from you. If you do not create sovereignty within yourself and power within yourself, that sovereignty and that power will be taken from you. What happened in 2020 to 2022 is going to happen again. Like, tyrants don't run a strategy, get away with it, and then go, I'm not going to do it anymore. That's not how it works. We have shown the world, we have shown society, we have shown the governments that we will bend the fuck over and let them... You get the point. We've shown them that we will give them that permission. So they will try again. That's just the truth of it. It will try again, and at some level, it will happen again. For me, and my mission is so fucking simple, because my mission for myself is the exact same for everybody else, right? My mission is to create even more fortification, to create even more sovereignty, to create even more power and even more strength for my family. That is what I am here to do firstly. And the way in which I do that is the most rewarding fucking thing on the planet, because I get to help others do the exact same thing. Because if you're really here to create more freedom, more love and empowerment and strength on this planet in any capacity, if that aligns with you in any capacity, you're on my fucking team. I want more people like you thriving. Why? Because we can't do it alone. I can't go out and just have all the impact. We need to work together here. And the way I see it is that I know that one day I'm going to have a son or two and a daughter or two on this planet. And I want to know that we have done everything that we can to create a free, strong, sovereign fucking world for them to exist in. I want to provide that. That is the most important thing that I could ever possibly fucking do, is to provide that for this future generation. And again, if you're a fighter fighting the good fight, I want to see that for your cute fucking kids too, right? The innocent fucking children. We can make sure that we create generational impact and generational change. And I will bite the fuck down on my mouth guard and throw haymakers until I'm fucking dead to make sure that that happens. I will fucking die for the fulfillment of this mission. I will do fucking anything to ensure that my family lives in a better world and that my family lives with more freedom, more health, more abundance, and more beauty than we ever think is possible. And here's the funny thing about all of this as well. Some of you might hear this and you might go, fuck, that's an intimidating way to live. Like, fuck, that's a very fighty way to live, a very tense, very aggressive, very straining way to live. Guys, I used to think the exact same fucking thing. I used to think that if you're fighting for something, then you're always tense and all the rest of it. Guys, at the end of the day, if you know me, you know I send it and have so much fucking fun. I can switch the switch off. But I also make no mistake that this is a fight. I make no mistake that if you don't actually go to fucking war for this, if you don't actually go to fucking war for your business, if you do not go to war for your fucking company and your family, you'll have it fucking stolen from you. I didn't write the fucking rules, but I understand them pretty goddamn well. Okay? And in saying all of this, you can also enjoy the fight. I fucking love the fight. I learned in martial arts a long time ago. I remember a coach, Dan Kelly, resilience training in Melbourne, in Footscray. I remember him saying, Tommy, get out of your fucking head, please. Bite down on your fucking mouth guard and take that guy the fuck out. And that really hit me. Not only that, I also got hit. But that really hit me because I did that. I did exactly that. I went, fucking alright. Buckled the fuck down and got the fuck to work. And when I did that, the funniest fucking thing happened. A, I stopped overthinking, which we already spoke about the importance of. And B, with that level of commitment, with that level of ruthlessness, with that level of savagery, everything became easier. Everything became easier. When you actually fight for what you're actually here to do, things become so much easier. I know that doesn't sound right, but it's the difference between the fighter who's up against the ropes and he's not fighting anymore and he's in survival and he's just wanting it to stop and he's just begging to find his flow. That's fucking hell. That, if you haven't been in that metaphorically or literally, I'm telling you, that is fucking torture. But if you fight, if you raise your hand and realize, I'm going to fucking do this. I am going to fucking do this. And I am going to take charge of my life. And I'm going to build what I'm here to build. No fucking questions asked. No fucking excuse about it. No quitting, no bitching, whinging, or moaning about it. I'm going to do what I'm here to do. And you start approaching things with that mentality, it actually becomes easy. Fighting those fights from that place, easy work. Being in a relentless, soul-destroying pit of questioning and wondering and unlived fucking dreams, that's hell. I'm going to be a line in the sand in my bloodline where things get even better and an even stronger standard is set. Not one that ends up bitching and whining and fluttering it away. So if you hear me speaking to you, and you hear me speaking to you with directness and savagery and passion and what looks like aggression, know that I am speaking to you like that because if you're on this team, I love you so deeply. And I love what we're fighting for so fucking deeply. And I see it as so ridiculously important that we become strong and that we become fortified and sovereign and powerful and that we fight the good fight. And know that I'm hoping that you'll hear this passion and that you'll listen, wake up, demand more from yourself, and play all in with a level of courage that you never have before. If you want me in your corner, you know I am here. You know you come to Nexus. You know you come to exit the system. You jump on board, you're in the fucking team, and we support you as a brother or as a sister towards actualizing your empire. Towards you becoming one of the 500 sovereign, strong, powerful as fuck empire owners that we help take to the moon. If that doesn't work with you and it doesn't align with you, that's fine. Jog on. That's sweet. But regardless of any of that, fight your good fight. Because it might be the only one ever worth fighting.